Hey. Hey. Meow.
The Angle Slam
Podcast.
Meow.
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 I just thought I'd go with that. Hi, everybody.
We be back.
We be back. It's been a while.
Yeah, because we were going to do Crown Jewel,
Blood Money.
Crown Jewel / Blood Money, but then suddenly out of nowhere, we didn't.
We just, it just became, I think we discussed the other day, we said in the previous podcast we might not anyway, due to just, honestly, the controversy.
I just don't want to watch them anymore.
Yeah, just honestly, what the fuck. So, if you're fans of this, thank you. But it kind of shows our unprofessionalism and our frustration with the product that we're trying to bring to you. So it's a bit hypocritical, I suppose.
Nothing actively bad happened at Crown Jewel. It's just nothing good happened either. It was just it's just there. It's just a glorified house show, as it always is.
I suppose if I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, Zelina won the Queen's Crown tournament. Xavier won King of the Ring. Yeah. Goldberg beat Lashley with Serena off the stage. And Reigns beat Lesnar due to some interference and championship belt stuff. Yeah, that's basically the highlight. Oh, and Big E beat Drew.
Yes,
they're your highlights. There was we probably could have dived in more and did a podcast about it, but you've got the initial gist of it. So yeah, do you want to do your thing?
Yeah. So as usual, like, subscribe, share, and find us on all the podcasting things apart from Spotify because I still haven't sorted that out. So SoundCloud, Stitcher, Apple Music, Anchor, Castbox, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. Just put Angle Slam Podcast or Angle Slam Wrestling Podcast, and you will find us.
You'll find
and this time it is Survive Ball Series. Survivor Series 2020.
I can see why you're saying that, and I know I might have actually more positive things to say than you will, but probably not a lot. Just maybe a couple here and there. But as far as deaths, I think I'm glad to say there isn't any. I know in start of September, so I might have said this on the last podcast we did, that a diva called Daphne died of suicide. Yeah. Which, again, unfortunately seems to be every other podcast. So it's big in the wrestling world, unfortunately.
I'd tell you who we can dedicate it to. We can dedicate it to the amazing John Moxley, who's going through his alcohol treatment program at the moment, which is always a great thing. If you're ever struggling with that kind of stuff, always get help, always talk to somebody. There's plenty of lines and websites out there to help you.
In fact, if we want to tribute it and say fuck you to someone at the same time, well, apologies to all those who got released recently. Again, from WWE.
It's just becoming norm, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Also, to a shout out to Kenny Omega, who wrestled at the last AEW pay-per-view with very serious injuries.
And vertigo.
Which he's been having for a few years. And, he didn't have to do that. He's actually relinquished the last championship belt he's got because he has to take time off. But he decided to go through with the AEW match. And
small power to it.
Yeah, and watching it, you wouldn't think anything's wrong with him. But apparently there is, but he still persevered. So kudos to him. Have time off. And fuck you to the guy who tackled Seth Rollins on Raw last night.
Oh, yeah. I literally saw this today.
I was just like...
What the hell?
Again, this happens like every 2 or 3 years. Just a fan thinks, you know what? I'm going to be part of the show and fuck everything up. But he proper, tackled it. I don't know what the guy was thinking, but fuck you. You're
an idiot.
Yeah, you're...
whatever you think of the product right now, and we agree, it is dire.
Yeah.
You don't do that. Because it's not, at the end of the day, it's not the performer's fault for how crap the product is. It's in the slightest. So.
If you don't like him because of his heel persona, you obviously don't get it.
Yeah, he's doing his job right.
Yeah, you don't get it. If especially, this wasn't a kid doing it, this is a full-grown man, so he's probably drunk off his face, but there's no excuse for it. If you don't like the show, just leave. Yeah. It's just it comes with the territory. I mean, when me and Zach went where we were sitting, there wasn't really a barricade to stop us. We could have easily just stepped over this thing in front and ran onto the stage or whatever. But why? Why would I want to try and sabotage the show or attack someone? And it's not cool for. So fuck you, whatever that guy was.
Yes, Survivor Series 2021.
First off, I'll be a bit annoyed. Surprised and annoyed that it wasn't the Battle Royal on the kickoff show. It was Shinsuke Damian Priest, which was a match I was actually looking forward to. But saying that, it was a hard card to know where to put what match would be on the pre-show.
Yeah. In all honesty, I wasn't bothered purely on the fact that I didn't really care about any of the matches on this.
No, there was
one maybe. Yeah. Because again, they just haven't cared about Survivor Series enough to build it up to make me care. It's all about bragging rights and brand supremacy. Yeah. It's like, well, I don't care about brand supremacy because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't give you anything. And also, most of these people that are going for brand supremacy were on the opposite brand 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So it just makes no sense. It's stupid storytelling. It's not working. They clearly don't give a shit about Survivor Series. So going through this, you're probably going to hear me ranting a lot about the fact that I just didn't care about the pay-per-view overall.
The whole thing was going in cold. Every now and then there's a match we go in cold. Pretty much the whole thing, like you say, doing the draft so close just doesn't make sense. No. If you want to do the draft afterwards,
do it in the new year. Sense. Do it on the day one pay-per-view they're doing this year. Yeah. Do it on the first Raw and SmackDown of the new year. That is the best time to do it.
But they used to do it after Mania. That's the way to do it. It's very fresh. But as far as the Damien Shinsuke thing, I don't think there was any build up as far as like them saying anything on promos or brand warfare. And to be honest, there was nothing in that for why I was interested. Nothing to do with brand warfare, nothing to do with the championships they had. I just thought these two guys are very good. It'll be interesting chemistry. I think they can put on a great match.
From what I saw, it looked
okay.
It was an okay match, but the DQ kind of finish thing was a bit annoying. He got really annoyed with what's the guitar?
I forget his name.
Is it Booms or some shit like that?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of them.
But yeah, he basically hit Nakamura with the guitar, and that caused a DQ, and technically Damien loses. But
yeah, it took me by surprise. I think it took us all by surprise because it would have made more sense for Damien to win because he's got the push. But unfortunately, I'm not out of touch with it at the minute. I think they have been building to this Damien Priest snapping thing for a while.
Probably.
So
again, this is another thing you're probably going to see from this podcast onwards is that we're not really going to know what's going on storyline wise with a lot of things because we don't watch Raw and SmackDown.
No,
really.
I try and read up what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I watch the reviews of like Wrestle Talk and stuff like that, and a couple of other things like that. So that's where I get information from. But I don't watch it myself. The only clips I kind of watch is a little bit of the Reign stuff, but even that's starting to peter off for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think I YouTubed it either this morning. I think it was this morning just to see what bits would like pique my interest, and there was nothing really. No. And there was. I'll tell you what bit I was looking for, which when we get to, it will sound ridiculous. But I was like, yeah, I want to see what happens as stupid it is, and I'll get into it when we reach that point. But yeah, so Shinsuke wins by disqualification, which puts SmackDown up 1-0. So main show kicks off. Right, first of all, I understood it was like 25 years of The Rock, even though The Rock couldn't be there.
Right. Let's get this whole thing out because this happened about 3 or 4 times through the night. So instead of talking about it bit by bit, let's get this out of the way.
The Red Notice stuff.
All the Red Notice stuff and The Rock 25 years thing. Oh my god, it was shit.
It was just...
I watched the film the other night, actually. We thought, fuck it, we'll give it a try and see what it's like. It's a great film. Really enjoyable. Couple of twists and turns. They've got good chemistry. Really enjoyed the film. But it has no place in here. It's literally just a cheap pop because it's The Rock's 25 years and he was in the film. And they just put this whole thing about a golden egg because that's something to do with what the film is, Cleopatra's egg. So they put it throughout the show with Vince McMahon there, and they make it seem like I'm supposed to care that Vince is there. I don't care. Every time I see him, I get pissed off instantly because I think he's such a moron. I don't know what he's going on. Like, why they think that this kind of stuff was a good idea. Even the intro to Survivor Series, the actual promo package, 9 times out of 10... Whenever they do a promo package, no matter what the pay-per-view is, it's normally a good, solid promo package because the one thing that WWE are good at is the promo package.
Production, yeah.
But even this was just half-assed shit, and I didn't like it, and it was real tongue-in-cheek kind of stupidity towards this film and 25 years of The Rock, and I just didn't like it. I thought it was a cheap pop, I thought it was stupid, and it didn't make sense.
If no one knew anything about the film or the wrestling, and you went, check out this opening thing, they were going to be confused as fuck.
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, so what is it? Is this a movie or is it a wrestling show? Because I understand Red Notice being the promotion, the sponsor. I understand The Rock being part of it. But split the two. Don't mix it together.
Yeah. Halfway through the pay-per-view, just say this is sponsored by Red Notice and just show a trailer. That's all you need to do.
Show a trailer, maybe a clip or so.
Yeah.
If you want. But it's just seen... I understood the clips of The Rock with the 25 years. But it would have made more sense if he was there.
And that's the thing. Is like it made no sense to do it if he wasn't going to be there. Even if he could do it via satellite, he could have. So it kind of makes me think that I don't think we're going to get Rock versus Reigns at Mania like we think.
Well,
I'm hearing all these things that he's saying, I'm busy here, I'm busy there, and they can't lock him down properly. They can't even lock him down for a satellite thing for Survivor Series. So how are they going to lock him down for a match?
The Red Notice thing, it was just kind of like the Red Notice combined with the Rock clips, which again I'm fine watching clips of what Rock's done, even though I know what he's done. It was like you were blowing so much smoke up his ass for no reason.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So it felt like to me, it was like, look, we're still friends with The Rock. He still calls me from time to time. He's still my friend. But it's like you're just making it seem like this desperate person to cling onto a friendship. That's what it seems like.
When a marriage ends, right, and you've been married 15 years, and after that you break up, the anniversaries stop. The Rock has not been there for 25 years. he debuted 25 years ago. You can't call it an anniversary.
You don't chuck something up on your Facebook post going, "Oh, I was married 25 years here." If you didn't leave me,
if he had a WWE contract for 25 years, maybe I could give you some leeway. But no, he left back in like 2003. Would do an appearance here and then.
It's a cheap thing.
Yeah, it was just like
stupid, and the egg thing was stupid as well.
The egg thing,
Vince is becoming less and less coherent.
He didn't seem with it.
Yeah, like when he's talking and everything, I'm like, I can't really understand you correctly. I swear you're like getting to that point with your age now where I can't fully understand what you're saying.
Even his acting was terrible.
Oh, it was just terrible. I mean, it was never good. It was never good to begin with, really. But
he came out the limo and the whole cheer thing was like, all right, that's kind of something Vince would do.
All the 24/7 people standing around.
Yeah, but then so when he turned up, I was like, right. Is there an announcement? Then he pulled out the egg, and I was just like, okay, I get what it is. It's another thing for Red Notice. But it took me a while to realise it. It's a throwback to when they had a giant egg back at Survivor Series 1990. Where
the chicken
they get the gobbledygook.
But that was stupid. Everybody hated it.
And I think he was trying to make a joke out of it, and it might have.
But he spent too much time on it. That's the thing. It's just, yes, make a joke of it and move on. But you don't. You've even got a thing where they moved it into Raw.
But
about this like find the egg kind of thing. I was like, why are we spending time on this?
Unfortunately, and I'm kind of ashamed to say it, that was the clip I was looking for, because obviously by the end of the thing, the egg goes missing. And he's like, if we can't find it tonight, everyone from Raw and SmackDown on tomorrow night will find it. Because the fact that he put down the value of it was like, okay, $100 million, even if it is an egg, if someone steals $100 million, okay, I get it. But the payoff of like Sammy going, I found it, it was Austin Theory, he wanted a selfie with it, and that was it. And I was just like, what? Why did we waste our time with that whole thing?
What a waste.
But the egg thing, he could have just come out the limo and not have that stupid thing or showing the egg to everyone and they were going, oh. He could have just got out, okay, Vince is there. When it showed the guy outside Vince's office, then Roman Reigns came up. If they just showed him knock the door and go in and then continue with the show, it would have been like, what's going on there? Some intrigue.
Yeah.
But
that pulling the rug from under, I know where you're going with this, and then the egg thing comes up later. Like, if you pull the rug under that, because you're building up towards what's going on here, and then suddenly the rug's pulled under. Oh, it's just an egg thing.
Because it wasn't a payoff. Yeah, it would have been better if he just entered the office and the egg was already there. And Roman's like, you wanted to see me, Vince? And he's like, yeah, just want to show this off to you. You might recognise this as a prop from the Red Notice thing, another pop for the film, and go, but it's not. It's the actual egg. It's worth $100 million, and your cousin, The Rock, did it. Blah, 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 blah. Obviously, the promo went the way it is. Roman's there going like, it's going to be similar to my new contract, which could be a build up something, could be just a little joke there. Mm-hmm. But it makes Roman like suspect number one. Yeah. Because to me, I know nothing's set in stone yet, that is the starting build up to Rock Roman at WrestleMania.
If that is the beginning to the build up between the two of them, that is the shittest entry to a build up.
It's a shit entry, but at least Roman can go, it would have made more sense for him to have the egg throughout the whole of Raw, and then he comes out with Heyman and whatnot, with the egg. Vince is like, who the hell do you think you are? And smashes the egg. $100 million gone like that. And his excuse can be like, I know I'm not unexpendable to this company. I'm champion. You can't get rid of me. Fine, do whatever you want. But how dare you speak down to me like my cousin's better than me? then you can continue the story. But they just didn't. They just made it a stupid little thing and a ridiculous reason to put Mr. McMahon back on camera. So that happened. We got that out of the way.
Yeah.
But the first match, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte.
This is the only match
I thought this was fucking awesome.
It was good. It was good, and that's the thing. This was the only match of the entire card that I was genuinely interested in because there was real life heat going on between them with that title exchange, and Charlotte's not in the best favour with Becky and Vince, and she was escorted out, and she's clearly pissed off with the direction of the company. She's definitely a factor, and the two of them played on it. They built up towards it, and this is what they did it correctly to the point where even at the start of the match before the bell rang, they were just trying to get to each other through the ref, and I thought, this is good. It makes it feel like a fight, and that's what you need to do. Not just, this is a wrestling match. No, I want to rip your fucking head off. And that's what I wanted. Everything about this was really, really fun. It was well-paced. It was solid, awesome wrestling. They built on all the aggression. They had a lot of great moves. They traded movesets as well and all that kind of stuff. And even though it was a shenanigans kind of ending, there was she tried to roll her up and she got caught, and then Becky did the same thing and she got away with it, and that's how she gets the win from Charlotte. I understood it. It made sense because it's showing that Becky's still a heel. And she's using
Charlotte. That was the difficult thing.
Yeah, and how do you do that? So they both tried the same thing, and only one of them got away with it, and that made absolute sense. Everything before it, great wrestling, really enjoyed it, great match of the night, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
And it shows that if you put a little bit of effort in and you put a bit of extra flavour in, you can make a good wrestling match and storyline out of something.
I couldn't
enjoyed it.
It was hard to put my finger on what it actually was because it on one side. You know, especially from the start of okay, these two genuinely hate each other now. If rumours are to be believed, backstage.
Apparently, like Becky said, we don't talk.
Yeah, they just want to.
They were best friends, and they don't talk.
But it also shows, regardless of that, either A, they could be professional enough to make it look like a genuine fight, and B, the chemistry is still there. To the point, A, this might be one of my match of the year candidates for WWE. AEW are miles ahead.
They're on different league.
Yeah, but. Also, if Becky, I know the whole Becky turned on Charlotte back a few years ago and it led to the WrestleMania thing with Ronda. If Ronda wasn't involved in it and it just led to the rematch between Becky and Charlotte at WrestleMania, that's exactly the match I would have expected. To me, that was Mania-worthy match.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was.
Yeah, if it was Mania, I would have expected a different ending. The ending that kind of made me go, what's that? Is that character development or is Charlotte still being a bitch? She kind of just smiled and shrugged it off.
Yeah, this was what I was going to get to next. It's like the only smudge or smear on this entire thing.
If it was a smear, I mean, we don't know.
We're not too sure. It's like she smiled, and you could be forgiven that it was her just going, "She got me. She got me. She played me at my own game," and that's what she's smiling at. It's like, all right, bitch, she got me.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that is the case. Although it could look like the fact that she did a very Austin Aries kind of thing of
fuck this,
I'm off, and she's smiling and walking off and no selling anything as if to say, I don't give a shit.
It was hard to tell.
It was really hard to tell. I generally cannot decide which side of the fence I want to be on. I can't make my mind up with it.
If it was the Austin Aries thing, it's like, Charlotte, come on. I understand you're in bad terms with them and who your dad is and all that, but be professional.
Because the thing is, I'm kind of a little bit more on Charlotte's side with this whole thing overall, because I know they had a certain segment with this title change thing, but as we all agree, the title exchange bullshit because everything's got to be colour-coded. It's bollocks. But she's unhappy with the company and direction, and she wants to be protective of her character, and also the way that she and certain other people are being treated. She's pissed off about the entire situation in the company, as are we all.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of on her side to a point, because it's like, you don't want to push too much, because she is the best women's wrestler on your roster, and you don't want to get rid of her, especially when Andrade and her dad are elsewhere.
I mean, I've got no argument that her athletic and wrestling ability is incredible. But there's I don't know a lot of the stories backstage. I know the whole shoot fight with Nia Jax. Mm-hmm. Basically, the whole women's locker room on Nia's side. Apparently, Charlotte can be a bit of a bully. But I also understand the whole protection of character thing, like what Bray Wyatt was doing. But at the same time, you've got to, especially with Charlotte, this isn't like Charlotte was being booked badly, like Bray was.
No, she's not being booked badly.
It just seemed a little bit to me that it could be Charlotte going, a little bit 90s Shawn Michaels of like, I don't want to lose.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't want to do that.
If that's the case, then yeah, my opinion will change, and it's just like, well, you're going overboard and being a dick. I understand your frustrations with the company because we've all got those frustrations.
Eventually, the truth will come out. It might be months, it might be years, but the truth will come out. But also the smile thing, I'll probably give WWE too much credit. If someone had told her to do that, or she said, I'm going to do that, to make them talk, it worked.
It worked. We're talking about it.
It was also, it could be a character development thing of like, okay, she tried the ropes thing, got caught. Becky did it, won. And it might lead to, it goes, if Charlotte could do a promo in the ring, goes, yeah, you're probably wondering why I reacted the way I did. And it could be just simply, that's the only way Becky can beat me. And, just kind of be like, yeah, okay, we went to town on each other. Did I try a dirty tactic? Of course I did. I'm the daughter of the dirtiest player in the game. But at the end of the day, you won by cheating. Simple as. So, yeah, it could be that. But yeah, when that match finished, I thought,
great,
this could be a starting page to something great here.
And then
stayed a bit.
For me, it dove off a cliff.
See, I actually liked the men's elimination. I know why you're going to have a grumble at the start, and I've got a major grumble midway through.
Okay, so that is the next match, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
the
the
men's
men's 5-on-5 elimination match. So obviously Becky won the last match. So yeah, 5-on-5 men's elimination.
Oh, sorry. So it's one apiece at the minute.
Yeah. It was fine. It was okay.
Oh god, it weren't like the best men's elimination.
No, but again,
I'm
going to keep saying this, and I'll probably keep saying it through that entire podcast. You didn't make me care.
No.
You didn't make me give a shit. The only slight storyline that was going through was whether or not Owens and Seth were going to coexist and that kind of shit and that kind of storyline. There was nothing else really going on there that interested me.
Did you like what happened at the start?
The Kevin Owens thing, I get it, because I think that's probably him staying face and him basically saying to Seth and whoever else, I don't give a shit, fuck you. But I'm a little bit annoyed that I didn't get to see Kevin do some wrestling.
This is why... Because
I love Kevin. I think he's an amazing wrestler and I want to see him wrestle.
I was 80-20 on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I agree. I wanted to see Kevin wrestle, but he did so much for his character and for the story by doing so.
Yeah, so I'll let it slide.
Yeah.
Overall, I can't really think of anything that really stood out for me. It just happened.
It was your standard kind of 5-on-5, really.
And I'll be honest, like, although Raw did win and Seth was the one, the sole survivor, and he won for Raw, which I think was probably the right decision. I think, because Seth's been losing a few times lately.
I did think
he needs to win.
Yeah.
I was kind of annoyed that Jeff Hardy was, even though for some reason the crowd were hot on him.
Oh god, yeah.
For some reason, but he's not been relevant for the last year.
I think they begin to forgive him.
They're putting him as like this surviving character kind of thing, and like the resilience. I was like, I know he is, but again, you haven't made me care about him in ages. So why suddenly, when he's getting this kind of comeback thing, why do I give a shit? I was just sitting there like, all right.
I think they're testing the crowd because the last time
the only thing I was getting annoyed about is that I was thinking that generally they were going to let Jeff win.
Well, I was behind
which
that.
would have pissed me off.
See, no, I was behind that.
I would have pissed off. Like, there's no reason for him to win this.
Oh, I think there was.
No,
I think there was a huge reason because I'll admit it, I voted SmackDown and all that, but I think they're kind of testing both their trust with Jeff and the reactions Jeff's got recently. I mean, I think was it Extreme Rules. He had the triple threat, and the fans were hugely behind him on that. Even though they're obviously during that match, I think they were expecting Priest to be the guy. Yeah. So I think they heard that reaction and thought, right, he's kept his nose clean. I think there's still money in Jeff. I think he's okay. I'll admit he's coming towards the end of his career, but I think there's still a couple of main event matches in his career.
I mean, I'm not saying there isn't, but I think the thing that is annoying me overall is that he's being put over other people. I say, like, he's getting pops and everything for certain things. I'm thinking, well, why aren't you popping for the new guys? Besides the fact that WWE aren't building new stars properly. And this is the problem I'm having with it. They're relying on nostalgia. And at the end of the day, Jeff is at that point now where he is a nostalgia act.
He is. And
I just don't want him to be getting pushed over other people. There should have been someone else in that spot for him on Survivor Series where even Dominic, I would have been fine being in that spot, being the resilient guy.
He's on Raw though, isn't he?
Was he on Raw?
Yeah,
Well,
'cause
okay.
Lashley replaced
If he wasn't then, like someone of that caliber, a new up and starter that deserves a spot in it to have that resilience.
Yeah,
But Jeff Hardy is like, I know he's a resilient character, but I looked at it and think, well, I don't.
If there was someone else on the team, I probably would agree. But what you had, Corbin.
But they can orchestrate it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They orchestrate. They plan this shit.
I meant as like, if you that's the team you want. And if it was a younger guy, I can't try to remember now. I know it was Corbin, but he wasn't. He's kind of a heel. It was Drew, Jeff. Who were the other two?
I don't know.
But to me,
I can tell how fucking checked out I am with this shit.
I understood in hindsight at the two when it got down to Jeff and Seth. Yes, okay, Jeff's very near the end of his career. Seth's pretty much at the peak now. He's been there a while.
Yep.
But out of the two, okay, Seth should really want to go over. But I think for more the crowd, the feel good moment, because the people are so behind Jeff that if he'd won it for SmackDown, it could have led into, you know what? After all that, I think I deserve a title shot now. And I've got no problem with seeing Jeff versus Roman Reigns. And he wants that. And he wants that potentially as his final match in a kind of stipulation, like if I lose, I'm done. It could have fed well into that. The bit that I kind of had the problem with was obviously Kevin just by count out, that was it. The double count out with Drew and Lashley.
Yeah.
I just thought too many count outs.
Yeah.
And
I get it. This is how you're getting two big guys gone.
And protected. I understood.
Yeah, I get it. But I just at the same time was like, I wanted to see Drew. I wanted him to be the last one or something, and he was he was down to 1 versus 5 or 1 versus 4, and then he just claymored the fuck out of everyone. That's what I wanted, because Drew needs to keep that stock up.
I mean, just before we continue, did Seth have his title match against Big E? I can't remember now.
No, I think that's probably next on the card.
So this is probably why they had Seth win.
And again, it makes sense.
So. Yeah, the thing with Lashley and Drew is like, okay, I get it. You're protecting both of them. They're eliminated. But you could have done something different in the count-out. If you want to keep getting Drew over, which as this big hero baby face that's strong as fuck, and same with Lashley, but as the ultimate bad guy, have them do what they did, brawl to fuck, and then Lashley comes in and smacks Drew with a chair. He gets disqualified. Drew's weakened. A swanton, not swanton, who was on Raw, like a curb stomp or whatever later. That's enough to go. That's why Drew's eliminated. Yeah. He's been beaten up by Lashley, hit with a chair, curb stomp, good night. But so I thought the double count was a bit unnecessary. Yeah. I didn't really understand Sheamus clobbering Jeff.
No, because they were working in the team.
Look, quite well actually.
And I didn't mind that. That was all right. See, considering they had that history of that feud they had a while back, and then suddenly they're working as a team briefly. I was like, okay, you're playing on my emotions a little bit there with that, and that's fine.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't enough for me to really enjoy the match, but
there was a few people that didn't really get a chance to shine, like Xavier. Finn got a bit,
but not a lot. Yeah.
No, the thing with Finn, what interested me, Jeff purposely waited for Finn to get back on his feet out of a show of respect. Of like, if we're going to do this, let's do it. And I just thought, you know what? I would not be against maybe the day one pay-per-view or whatever. Finn or Jeff winning the Intercontinental title, and then it leads to WrestleMania where it's Finn versus Jeff in a ladder match at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I think there'd be good chemistry. So, yes, Seth was the sole survivor, and I understand why they're probably going with that. But I just thought, you know what, if you really wanted to get new talent over, surely Austin Theory should have been the sole survivor. And that instead of this, the selfie thing's working, but I think, he got a title shot on Raw, but for the stupid egg thing. So it's like, okay, they're really pushing on Theory. The selfie thing, let's see what goes on with it.
I don't mind it.
I've seen him in Evolve, and I can see what kind of character wrestler he can be.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, give him that opportunity. Don't give him a stupid gimmick like you do with every NXT call-up you ever have. So, speaking of which, just a side note, Karrion Kross is now in Mexico AAA.
Oh, really?
Which, obviously, they've got a good relationship with AEW. So, yes,
cool.
We've seen more of him. And Scarlett's gone with it.
Yeah.
So that makes
it... Yeah, because why would you split those two?
Exactly, yeah. It's like a stupid business decision. So, that's 2-1 for Raw. Next was the Battle Royal. Which again, I probably still would have put on the pre-show.
It was rushed, it was last minute, and I didn't care.
Understood it, brand warfare. It's an elimination style match.
Yeah, but I mean, you know for a fact they did it because they got rid of Hit Row and they realised they couldn't do the tag thing, so they did this instead.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I never cared. Nothing of note happened in the slightest. Honestly, I come out of it going.
Apart from
I remember nothing.
The fucking pizza stuff.
Oh, the pizza again. Fine. I mean, there's Street Profits are fun and entertaining. So if you're going to give something goofy, give it to them because they can make it work.
Yeah.
Fine. Didn't mind it. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But
when they were coming out, because they referenced that it was 25 years of the Rock Battle Royal, I thought, I bet they're boxes of pies, like the Rock's pie. Then suddenly it's like, oh, it's pizza, because it was pizza.
Technically, people in America, they call pizza a pie, don't
they? They do, but the pies that Rock always referenced in the Attitude Era were like pie, chicken pie.
Yeah, chicken pie or sweet potato pie.
But, like that. Okay, they did that whole pizza thing.
Yeah, I mean, Omos won. Like I said to you earlier, so as soon as AJ was gone, I was like, Omos is taking this, because Vince would never lose an opportunity to make his Big Ben look bigger.
Well, when it started and AJ slid out and just stood on the commentator table, I was like, "Oh, I might be in a winning chance here if he just stays there." They gave the entrances to like the big guys, not big as in big, but like the more marquee superstars. Yeah. So I'm thinking, oh, here's Ricochet and blah blah blah.
Yeah, Ricochet got an entrance, which is weird.
I'm fine. But
again,
the one
hasn't been relevant in months.
I just thought, I bet he knows next until I clocked him in the ring, and it was Cesaro. And I thought, really? They're he's just one of those...
I love the fact that we were filled with such hope when they had him in Reigns, and then someone said, let's do something with him. What has happened? Nothing. He even lost to Sheamus last week.
Yeah, but then when they shown that clip, I was like, I wasn't even aware it's like the Bar are fighting. That would be a match I would actually be interested in. But for granted, they might go, well, watch SmackDown. I guess, but you haven't given me a reason to, apart from this. But I'm so out of context with it, is that whatever.
So yeah, Battle Royal happened, people got eliminated, Omos won,
Otis ate a pizza, eliminated
Fat person eats pizza, that's hilarious!
To me, the thing they kind of dropped the ball on was you had, Commander Aziz, whatever he is, he's Apollo Crews, that big guy, and the other big guy, I can't remember who he's with.
I can't remember who he is either, I don't know who he is.
But there was three massive guys in there. If you were going to go with Omos, because as soon as it got down to Omos Ricochet, I was like, Ricochet maybe, but I'm very much doubting it.
Yeah, no way. You see what Lesnar did to him?
Exactly. So it was like, why don't you just end it with the three biggest guys?
Because then there's a little bit more like flavour there going, who will win this?
But yeah, it's flavour, because not just because of all three of their sizes, but it's like, these are three relatively new guys.
Yeah.
There's young blood there.
Yep.
But yeah, they get gone with the Omos thing, who... I think he's beginning to understand the business a bit more, but he's still done nothing wow.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he's just done big stuff. Yeah. And by big stuff, I mean Great Khali type of stuff. Nothing that really stands out and goes, fair play, mate. You know what I mean? I'm just going, he's a big guy. He does choke holds. He does big smacks. He knocks people over. He choke slams people. That's pretty
But I'll just be saying to Vince, not that he'd listen or give me a straight or
he'd just
answer. I'll just be like, where are you going with this guy?
You'll see. No,
don't give me you'll see, because I'm helping you to try and help me understand. Because if I was a writer, I need to understand what I'm writing this guy into for your vision to come straight.
But as we've seen in the past, it doesn't matter what you write them into, because Vince will change it on the morning of the fucking show.
Because it's like, unless he finally gets a title match and absolutely wows the fuck out of everybody with either power moves you didn't know he could do, or like even a senton. Something
I'm telling
crazy.
You now, his moveset may improve a slight bit as time goes on, but I'm telling you now, he will become a world champion, one, before he's ready, and two, it will be in a match where I think he didn't deserve it.
I think it was just as soon as they split him and AJ up, that he'll try and push him, and then the fans just...
They'll push him too quick.
But the fans won't levitate towards him. And it would just... But
we haven't.
It would totally suck if he ends up being the guy to dethrone Roman.
That's...
Or Big E, to that matter.
I tell you what, if he's the one to dethrone Roman, which I don't think he will be, but if that happened, I am done with WWE. Yeah. And I mean, done. I mean, I will not watch a pay-per-view again, because all the effort you've gone through to make Reigns this unstoppable heel, this absolute beast of a character, an amazing character, I will grant, and you ruin it like that.
Yeah. Unless Omos pulls something out of the bag beforehand where it goes, you know what, he's earned it.
I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see it.
So the Battle Royal, it was...
So, 3-1 to Raw. Then, let me think, sorry. Tag team. RK-Bro versus Usos.
RK-Bro versus Usos.
There was nothing bad.
Nothing bad. It was fun. The RKO out of nowhere for the win.
Yeah.
Great. I always love RKOs out of nowhere. The one thing I will say is that I love it when Randy cares.
Yeah.
When he cares and he's enjoying it, you can see he's enjoying it, and I'm so happy they let him go off on this thing with Riddle because he's enjoying himself, and when he's enjoying himself, he really puts the effort in. And I enjoy them as a tag team. Usos, I think, are solid as a tag team. It was an all right match, but it didn't wow me in any way. I was still flicking through my phone while watching it, and just it wasn't engaging me enough.
It was kind of like a Raw main event feel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it would only have been Raw main event feel if one of the championships was on the line. So this, unfortunately, and the match following, kind of felt like the piss break, which it shouldn't have done, because I think this is the reason why they had RK-Bro win, is that this technically gives Orton the record as the most pay-per-view matches one wrestler has ever held.
Yes.
Which is an impressive feat.
Impressive.
So I think there's a big reason why they gave them the victory, because I thought they should have really gone with the Usos for the fact of keeping the bloodline strong.
Finding out what all the results that are happening through this pay-per-view and everything, I think it's abundantly clear that Reigns is going to play on the fact that Raw won.
Yeah.
Because he's going to go, well...
I mean, Raw, technically, if the only other difference was that the Usos had won that, Raw still would have won. It would have been, 4-3?
The fact that it's pretty much a clean sweep.
Yeah, I think Roman should have...
Roman's going to play on that fact and go, well, I'm the one that fucking held the SmackDown banner as a win, and no one else could do it. We'll get into the main event later on, but if him and the Usos were the only two victors for SmackDown, well, you had Shinsuke, but that was disqualification. Also, it was on the pre-show, so do they even count it? They didn't last year.
Well, they didn't even do the count. I don't think they were even counting, but the fans were. So, but either way, it's a Raw victory. But if he could have easily just stepped up on SmackDown and goes, the only winners that night were me and my family, if the Usos had gone over.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but because now the fact that the Usos lost, I was half expecting again one of those promos backstage of them all pissed off and Roman going, "What was that?"
Yeah, and I'm kind of hoping we get that on SmackDown as well.
Yeah, they need to.
I know that you were playing that.
It's one of those. The same. I know we always can bitch about Michael Cole saying the same shit over and over again, which is annoying because of the way he does it, but I understand it's Vince in his fucking ear all the fucking time. But this is one of those things where with Roman, you got to keep that, he's a bully. He talks down to his own family. Yep. You've got to keep pushing that in.
And it works for him.
When he finally gets smacked in the mouth and loses, you're going to be like, yeah, fuck you. But
so that's the thing, you can do that kind of stuff because you know there's going to be an end game. You know there's going to be a comeuppance at some point down the line. Mm-hmm. The problem with Michael Cole is he'll never have a comeuppance because he's a commentator.
No. It's
just constant annoyance.
I mean, some of the commentary was actually okay. The thing
Pat McAfee, I love Pat.
Good.
Because he hasn't got Vince in his ear.
No.
He's allowed to riff, and if you're allowed to riff, you can get better content.
It's just some of even the things they were talking about. I think even Corey made a joke of when the golden egg went missing. He goes, "Oh God, it's just so unlikely something to do with an egg at Survivor Series could go so badly here." And the two of them were just going, I'm wondering who told you to say that. But
Usos lost.
Usos lost. Then I think it fed into the Heyman segment where I forget.
Oh yeah, Kayla Braxton.
Which I'm liking that little mini storyline that she always pisses him off. And then
she's basically just told him that his Lesnar's suspension is not indefinite,
which means he's coming to an end.
Yeah.
And Heyman was just oh shit.
Okay. So we had that, and then it was the women's.
Women's elimination. I thought this was the worst match of the night.
It was awful.
It was just nothing.
Nothing of note happened. Nothing important happened. None of the right people got their moments to shine. Building certain people up, like Liv Morgan or something. Considering Liv Morgan's meant to be going against Becky too. Shit like that. It went the way exactly as I expected it to do.
Yeah, I mean,
with Bianca being the survivor, and that's fine because I want to keep Bianca strong because I like her. You know what I mean? I want her to do that. It's just that when you do these 5-on-5 things, you've got to give the other people their time to shine as well, and I felt like nobody really got that here at all.
It seemed very unlikely when it got down to, was it 3-on-1 with Bianca? It just seemed very unlikely that she could overcome.
But they put the SmackDown guys pulled Sasha out of the ring and got her disqualified. They kept pulling her out of the ring, and it's just I understand you're pissed off with her because of what she was doing a minute ago, but don't make the odds worse for yourself.
Well, it was.
It's stupid.
I understood.
It makes you look stupid. It makes Sasha look stupid that she didn't try hard enough, and then you ended up losing. So you just all look like idiots.
That was exactly what they wanted to get across, though. That's the story.
But that's not good, because these guys are meant to be fucking awesome wrestlers that are a little bit savvy and everything and know how to wrestle and know how to carry something. And then you just make all of them look like morons.
Yeah, it is that whole how you've let the team down and put your personal differences in there. And that was the main point. I mean, there was the whole Shotzi Blackheart thing, which technically, Sasha was right. She made the tag first, even though Shotzi jumped in. So that happens. Then obviously Shayna tries to break it up and gets blasted in the face by Sasha. That pisses her off. But the thing is, all these spots that actually did happen, the fans and no one reacted the right way because this was the big example of going into something cold.
Yeah, not making any effort.
But also the results were now clear. This made no difference in the Raw SmackDown thing. Raw had already won.
Yeah.
So it was like...
But this was around the time that I started hearing AEW and CM Punk chants as well.
I saw them... I can't remember if it was during the women's match or not. I definitely saw Mexican Wave happen at some point.
Yeah, so it was during this match.
Okay.
And then I heard CM Punk, and I did hear AEW at some point.
What kind of annoyed me was at the last bit where Sasha jumped in and got counted out. Technically, she was in the ring. So her whole body was in.
It's just her legs out, but she still didn't get...
Then they pulled her out and 10. I was like, no, she was in. If this was any other match, you would have been there. So it was just like, no, and then, it was just...
It's a Bianca one, but...
Yeah, if anything...
It's a hollow victory, isn't it, really?
When they surrounded the Shield, I thought, if there's any chance now to get that hair swinging where you can swing it all around and hit all three, now's fucking time. Nope. They didn't have, I don't know if she likes using her hair a lot, because I bet it fucking does hurt. So, it was just that...
It's a hollow victory.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling. It was Liv, there was Natalia.
Natalia! How does, in 2021, how does Natalia get on the Survivor Series show? I
understand.
What?
I understand why you're not connected to the character, and she's not a wow factor thing, but she's kind of that solid, dependable... She's not bad at her craft. I'll put it that way.
She's bad at her craft. It's just... There's new girls that need that opportunity, and why aren't they being given?
Well, a lot of the time,
because they're probably being released.
A lot of the time, you'd be surprised they ask for Natalia to go out there to kind of help them and show them the ropes. I am still baffled that Tamina is still under a contract, but I'm glad she went in the match.
Yeah.
And it also confused me because that was it. Carmella got eliminated quite quick. She was fucking around with a mask.
Yes.
And Rhea was just like, nope. And I was like, even that's, like you say, a stupid breakdown in communication. And it kind of baffled me that, okay, Rhea's there, but Nikki isn't. And they're meant to be women's tag team champions.
They're not anymore.
Oh, they lose, did they?
They're on Raw. They lost.
I heard they had a match.
They lost to Zelina Vega and Carmella.
Okay.
That are randomly thrown together as a tag team.
Okay, at least I suppose they're still referencing that they exist, but it's kind of like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
So, that happened. Bianca won.
That's Raw.
Another one for Raw. Main event.
Yes, so it was obviously Reigns versus Big E. When it was announced, I was like, cool. And over time, they did some essence of storylines, but in
the whole New Day angle.
Yeah, but I kind of wanted New Day versus Bloodline kind of thing.
Yeah, I think everybody did.
Yeah, we didn't really get that. We just got the one-on-one.
Yeah, you could have easily had the New Day get the Raw tag titles at some point. And then just go, you know what? Instead of the separate matches of Usos versus New Day and Reigns, let's just six-man tag the hell out of it. Yeah. And we'll have another match somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know they did the whole storyline thing with Kofi being written off with a leg injury. Now, I don't know if that's to cater to a genuine injury or if he's just having time off. But, if it is just time off, kudos to him. Kofi deserves some time off.
The match itself, though...
It took a while to get in.
This is what I was going to say. It was about a 20-minute match.
Yeah.
The
first half.
First half?
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah, I agree.
Boring. I was like, oh my God, really? It's like, this is meant to be a big deal here.
Well, that's
you've got to keep Big E strong, you've got to keep Reigns strong. These are big powerhouses going against each other. The last 10 minutes was good. The last 10 minutes I enjoyed. They had a lot of their fast stuff and everything. They had a lot of kick-outs, like near falls and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Big E with the resilience of certain spears and Superman punches and stuff and guillotines and, got out of all of that stuff, and that was really good. And then I think it was a spear that put him away eventually.
Yeah,
wasn't
I think
it
it was a second spear.
Yeah. So the last 10 minutes, it was fun, and I enjoyed it, and that was great. But it doesn't negate the fact that for the first 10 minutes, I was bored out of my fucking ass.
Like, he started the match like, okay, let's go. Even though
if that's the case, just make it a 10-minute match and go hot from start to finish.
I think the problem was the first two. Again, no, I'm not shitting over the tag team match that much, but the women's match had kind of deflated me to the point where going into the main event, just kind of like, okay, can we get this over with now?
Yeah, it was like 10-9. I was like,
but I was trying to.
I'm getting to the point. I would rather go to bed and watch Friends at this point.
I was trying to kind of help myself up and going, come on, the Roman matches should be interesting. This is Big E's opportunity, champion's champion. Try and get into it. And he did the missed slam on the apron. And he hurt his knee or his elbow, whatever it was. And it was that period after that where it just kind of fell flat for a good 10 minutes. And it wasn't until Roman started hitting those Superman punches and Big E just went down to one knee and, like I say, he's beginning to Hulk up to the point where...
Yeah, he did the Hulk up thing. That was cool.
When he did the third one, it panned on Roman for a while and then he turned around to set up for the spear and Big E was already standing up.
Yes.
I understood it, but I still would have had, no, don't even have the third one, take him out. By all means, have him knocked down, but having just had this resurgence of just like, and then just straight back up, and they would have fired the fans up. Roman would have been like, what the fuck? At that point, while Big E was maybe marching around the ring, hyping himself up, that's when you could have hit the first spear and then the kick out.
One thing I think they it's just a little niggle, but there's a slight missed opportunity during one of Big E's movesets during the pay-per-view. He always does the rope-to-rope belly slam. Mm-hmm. Always does that as part of his moveset. Why not make that the people's elbow?
I thought this...
as he was doing it, I was like, why not? Of all the times, if they're pushing this 25 years of The Rock and everything, Survivor Series, like they've been ramming down your throat all night, like a really shit egg. Yeah. Why not at that point do the people's elbow? Because then, if he goes for a cover afterwards... I'm not saying that that's obviously going to put Reigns away, but there'd be that slight thing going, whoa!
I genuinely thought that at the start of the show, because I first thought, what if Roman can't put him away and tries to pull out one of the Rock's moves? Yeah. And then I thought, it's not really in Roman's character, and he'd also be like, I don't need Rock's moves to do it, but why can't Big E? And so I did think that, but obviously, just to rewind slightly, I always love, even though it's so dangerous, that spear he just threw the second rope, which is when it was like, okay, here we go, and big endings that didn't work out, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then the second spear put him away. At that point, I was genuinely like, you know what, I could have gone a few more minutes there. Yeah. I would have
I think I could have gone a few more minutes purely based on the fact that the first 10 minutes were so boring.
Yeah. I would have had Big E kick out of that one of going, you know what? Yeah, he's WWE champion, and he's not a stepping stone to Roman. Yes, okay, he's kicked out of one, but... we need to put him over. If he's not going to be put over by winning, which, let's face it, they could have done because Roman still would have been champion. If you don't want to do that, which I understand why, put him over in the way of, he ain't no slouch. Yeah. Kick out of the second one. Roman's like, what the hell? Big E, again, big ending, goes for that people's elbow thing. And you're like, is this happening? But as he goes in for that last thing up, Roman pops up, rock bottoms him, and that's how he gets the win. Because I think he actually did a rock bottom during the match.
It was a uranagi.
Yeah, but everyone was kind of like, rock bottom.
Uranagi and rock bottoms are very, very
I was going to say, I saw that. I was like, a rock bottom, he kind of slams them in the uranagi. Rock bottom, Rock goes down with them. Yeah. So it's the same with the what is it, Becky's thing, that the manhandle slam.
It's a rock bottom.
It is and it isn't because she doesn't go down with it. But at SummerSlam,
she did it.
It was a rock bottom.
Yeah, it was a rock bottom.
So Roman wins and then no show by The Rock. And there's something about an egg getting stolen. But,
that was it.
So that's pretty much it. It's okay, you rate first, because I need to think about this.
Yeah, so ratings. I didn't, like I said before, they didn't make me care. I didn't care about one match. Most of the matches were either okay or below par. There was smatterings of bits I enjoyed, but not enough to save the pay-per-view. Becky Charlotte was the best because it was the best story. I'm going to struggle to give it more than a 4.
I'm going to go with 5.
Yeah,
purely because,
4, mate. I think
because yes, I probably would have gave it more if they hadn't gone in so cold. But I'm actually taking points off because it went cold. I thought the women's match was amazing. I thought,
I'll be honest. Most of my points are going to that match.
The men's elimination wasn't great, but wasn't bad by any stretch. I still thought it was pay-per-view worthy, so that was okay. The RK-Bro versus Usos, not wow, but generic in an okay way. Women's elimination crap. Battle Royal is what it is, and the main event had its flaws.
Yeah, 2 hours.
And then there's the stupid egg thing. So I think I'll give it a 5. Of like, it's only just average because despite how cold you went in, a lot of it was saved by the actual good wrestling, which is happening a lot more often in WWE now. Like, you know what? If it weren't for how good your talent was, your storytelling sure as fuck ain't. So
you can tell that, like, piece by piece, my spirit is being broken more and more, because it used to be that I was always putting points above you. But now it's getting. I think it's maybe the 3rd time in a row where my points have been below yours, because you're forever more optimistic about WWE than I am.
I don't want to say optimistic. It's just more. It's more kind of like I'm giving them because it's signs of improvement here and there, and then I have to take some off because like no, you still fucking.
They just pulled the rug from under you. It was a pay-per-view that happened, but it's nothing that's changed the game at all.
I think it was one of them as well where like only 2 matches of the card really left a bad taste in my mouth. The women's and the women's elimination, and it's not really a bad taste, but the battle royal just I don't know. It again, if I was going to create the card, I would have had the battle royal on the pre-show, probably opened with Usos RK-Bro, and then I probably would have higgledy-piggledy there, and done the men's elimination and the Roman. Sorry, I would have had the women's title match and the men's title matches on the last 2 matches. Because I think if Charlotte Becky had gone exactly the same way before Roman Big E, not only would the energy be up with the crowd, but I think Big E and Roman would have been like, okay, we got to step up.
Yeah,
so,
probably.
Yeah, it happened, like you say.
Yeah, it happened. I'm not going to remember it in T-minus 5 minutes. So.
We're moving on. So, as you probably guessed by a lot of the conversation, it's getting to the point that by WrestleMania we might switch over to AEW podcasts.
Yes, so we've mentioned it a couple of times. I think maybe we've spoken to our friends because we do a wrestling league as well, as we mentioned. We're looking at potentially still doing the Big 4, maybe Money in the Bank as well. We might not bother with Survivor Series if it's going to continue like this. And then the main 4 for AEW as well. And those are the ones we'll start reviewing. The other ones, all the other B and C pay-per-views for WWE, will probably not bother anymore because it's getting to a point where it's just like, I don't want to waste my evening with this. Like, I can understand people like Wrestle Talk and all those big YouTube channels doing it because it is their job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's their job. They get paid for it. It's their full-time career. This is something we do on the side for fun, and we enjoy talking about wrestling a lot. But it's getting to the point now where it's so depressing. It's such a chore. One, to watch the pay-per-view, and then to have to sit there and talk all depressingly about it. I don't want to sit here and be all depressing. I want to have like a nice positive energy and nice things to say, and just us have a nice conversation about wrestling. Not sit there going, "It was shit again." You know, we don't want that. It's depressing to do it all the time, but. So we're getting to that point where it's like, we'll push to Mania, but after that, I don't know.
Just to clarify, we're not saying AEW is perfect.
No, I mean, case in point no company is.
I'm not sure what they're doing with Cody Rhodes right now, but whatever they're doing, the fans aren't having him. They need to turn him heel because he's just not the babyface he wants to be, or he's trying to be, or even Arn Anderson and stuff. They're like, no, we're not doing this. For whatever reason, I think it just got to the point that it was the same kind of story for Cody for over and over again of like, a new guy would come in and kick the crap out of Cody, then Cody would kick the crap out of him. And it happened like 2 or 3 times.
It's getting to the point where the fans have made it abundantly clear, like, we realise he's being the gatekeeper, and we don't like that.
Yeah.
He's becoming a little bit of a Triple H, and we don't want like, that.
The fans realise, is that all you've got to do here, really? Because if it is, you either need to change the content of your character, or just fuck off. Because what's the point, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But saying that, Full Gear was awesome.
I still haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But
again, not a perfect show. It's not, it's not like a WrestleMania 17, and again, they had a couple of matches that maybe didn't hit the mark that was expected. but it's
still
still
superior.
refreshing. It's still like I say, superior. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so that's Survivor Series done, 2021, and this is our last one for the year because there's no more pay-per-views for the rest of the year.
There's day one, which I don't know if we'll be reviewing or not. We'll see.
I mean, is it on the 1st of January?
It's New Year's Day, yeah.
New Year's Day we're going to be hanging out of our asses. So it's the chances of us.
I probably won't watch it live.
No,
but maybe when the 2nd of January rolls around, I might just stick it
We'll
on.
wing it. We might review it. Might not. It depends when we got time. Depends how hungover we are.
Depends how we feel.
Depends when we have feel and when we go back to work as well.
Yeah, I go back on the 4th. So
I think I do as well. So
other than that, it'll be the Royal Rumble.
Yes. So yeah, this is us done for 2021.
Thanks for being a fan of us this year.
Yeah,
I know it's been a chore.
Yeah, it has been a chore, just like fucking wrestling is at the moment. But we appreciate everyone watching it. We hope everybody has a really good Christmas, and hopefully in the new year we can start saying some good things about WWE and things start picking up. But I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, we might say good things like Vince passed away.
Yeah! It sounds awful, but at this point it's like, mate,
I'll take
just die,
yeah,
please.
I'll just take it, won't I? But, yeah, let's end on that sour note.
Yeah, so like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the new year.
And share. Yeah. Bye.